the different type of appointments, preview appointments versus listing appointments. There's some other different appointments. And what I thought that we would do today is do a deep dive on the 3 type of appointments. I think you're going to get absolute clarity moving forward. So not only will we're going to discuss kind of the different types of appointments, but more on the strategy side as well, on when you would use the different type of appointments, what to do on each type of an appointment so that you're clear. Because yesterday, I think some questions came up, and afterwards, after our FISBO mastermind, a lot of people are confused. So let me just ask you guys that are here right now, if you could, really quick, if you could just let me know, like throw it in the chat, if you're not 100% on the difference between, like, if I say, what's a discovery appointment? When would you use it? Or what's a preview appointment? Why would the seller meet you for a preview appointment? Like, are you 100% clear on that? All right, so Becker totally gets it. Clear, 80%, not 100%. Okay, all right, so that's what we're gonna do, okay? So I've asked Ben and Dominic to somewhat clear. All right, I wanna make it 100% clear. I wanna make it so that all of you that are joining the live training today leave with 100% clarity, all right? And I think you'll get a lot more confidence as we move forward. So I'm gonna share my screen. I just have a couple notes I wanna share with you guys. I'll go through some of this. Dominic and Ben pile in if I missed something. And then we'll have an open conversation around this topic at the end, all right? So we'll probably go for 30 to 45 minutes today with the goal and the understanding that by the time you leave, that you are clear on the different types of appointments you could set, why you would want to set them, and when you would want to set them. So let me share my screen and we'll get started. All right, so to start this off, here's what I would recommend. If you're going to take notes, I would have a separate page for each type of an appointment. So you got plenty of room to take notes and then write down any questions you have around each appointment so that we can come back to it. That's what I would do, all right? So the 3 different pages, the first page or title would be preview appointments. The second page is going to be discovery appointments. And the third space or page should be for listing appointments. So we have preview appointments, we have discovery appointments, and we have listing appointments. Ben, did you hit the recording?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so let's start off with preview appointments, all right? So as you have questions, again, we'll spend some time at the end going through all of those. Let me just get through all of the content first. All right, so here's the way I think about preview appointments, all right? And I wanna make this as clear as possible. So first off, what is a preview appointment? By definition, okay? So it's a property walkthrough where there is no expectation from the seller that you're there to discuss the listing of their home. That's a typical preview appointment. You're going there to walk through the property, and the homeowner, in their mind right now, has zero expectation that you're coming to their house to talk about the listing of their property. Well, then the next question is, why? I mean, I don't get it. Then why would the sellers set these appointments? That was another question that came up yesterday. Sellers accept preview appointments because their perception is that showing their house or allowing agents to come through their property to both agents and buyers is simply part of the selling process. So this was a question that came up yesterday. Well, I don't understand why the seller would set these appointments. Well, because the seller believes that showing their house to agents and to buyers is a normal part of the process. That's why there's some such thing as an agent preview in the MLS. And when I pointed this out to agents over the last 20 years, they're like, holy shit, that's a really good point. I forget about that. I know so much that I forgot how much I know. So the homeowner, think about this. If in our MLS, the MLS, and this is why when we bring on a new agent into the industry, we have them preview a lot of active homes. It's part of the process. So homeowners have the same perception that if I'm going to sell my house, that it makes sense for me to show my house to agents because agents work with buyers and sellers. It makes sense to have them, to let them come over. Yeah, I could see that. Makes sense. That's why they accept the appointment. Now, yes, you guys all have questions. Well, what if they say that do you have a buyer? Do you have a buyer? Do you have a buyer? That's something different. I'm talking about all the preview appointments that you set with homeowners where that objection does not come up. They say, yeah, come on over. I'd love to show you the house. Well, why do they do that? Because they believe that showing their home to agents and buyers is part of the home selling process. Next, you're going to use this strategy because you're probably asking yourself, well, why would I use this then? Well, you're going to use this when you do not have a large pipeline and you're looking to get in front of more prospects. So you can use this to get in front of more people, which a couple things will occur. You'll probably have less contacts over the phone and more face-to-face meetings, which there's a massive upside to that. We talked a lot about that for like an hour yesterday, and we could talk about it more too when you guys have questions. But this is a strategy that you're going to use to get in front of people, because most of you have told me in my conversations, I'm way better, Brandon, when I'm in front of a human being and I'm just normal talking to somebody. I'm so much better than talking to them over the phone. I don't know why. I'm just a lot more comfortable. So this is when you would use that strategy. Now, this is the key takeaway for preview appointments. I'm going to spend some time here, and Dominic and Ben, feel free to add on. This strategy, being preview appointments, is a lead generation activity, not a lead conversion activity. Let me explain exactly what I mean. This strategy is a lead generation activity, not a lead conversion strategy. Meaning that when you are on the phone with the prospect, or you were texting with the prospect, or you were emailing with the prospect, or you were messaging with the prospect, you did not discover whether or not they were a lead by definition. Meaning, we don't know if they were going to list their house if they have an agent or not. We don't know their timelines for doing so. They haven't agreed to interviewing you, right? We don't know any of that information. So we use, Rhoda, the preview appointment to identify the lead. I'm just going to make sure that you guys really get this. In a perfect world, you would identify and generate leads over the phone. You're finding out their desire, their ability, their reasons, their timelines, and you would generate a lead based on the definition of this program. That's what you would do in a perfect world. Well, we don't live in a perfect world. Most of the time, that maybe you don't have the skill set for that yet. You would use the preview appointment to set a face-to-face meeting with a seller where they agree to show you the property. And at the appointment, while you're looking through the home, you're having conversation, you're using the face-to-face appointment to identify, do I have a lead? So I'm asking all the dart questions at the appointment while I'm viewing the home. I'm finding out, do I have a seller lead opportunity at the appointment? Because I couldn't figure it out on the phone. So this is a lead generation activity. We just broke the lead generation activity up into two parts. Part one was setting the preview appointment. Hey, I'm in your area. Would love to stop by to take a quick peek at the home. Are you there Thursday or Friday? It's the easiest appointment of all time to set. We've been setting these for 20 years. Sure, come on over. Okay, they have no expectation. We don't know if it's a lead or not. We're just getting in front of the prospect. Makes sense so far. And then when I'm there, because I can have face-to-face conversations much easier than I can over the phone, I'm asking them, hey, when are you guys planning on moving? Where are you moving? Why are you moving? If you guys, would you guys be opposed to interviewing agents down the road? All of these types of questions are coming up at the appointment because we didn't do it on the phone. That's what's happening at the preview appointment. And at the preview appointment, we leave the appointment understanding, do I have a lead or do I not? So yes, is it a lot more time intensive? For sure. This will require you to do a lot of driving in the car because you're doing the second half of the lead generation process in their home versus at your home on the phone. Now, Dominic, Ben, anything you want to add to this before we start talking about discovery appointments?
Yeah, if I may.
Please.
Yeah, so I would submit that if you don't have the skill set on the phone yet, or you just prefer to meet people in person, if you have enough for sale by owner opportunities in your marketplace, if you went on one preview appointment per week or per day, if you went on Monday through Friday, you just went and visited one for sale by owner, and then you just calculated the number based on our conversion numbers, in a few months, you would have listings just because you're meeting people and you're getting through that process of determining whether or not they're a lead face to face, right? You're kind of at that time, and you don't know it and they don't know it, but you're interviewing each other informally during that preview appointment. You'll know if this is a house that you want to list, and they'll probably have an idea of whether or not you're somebody that they would want to work with. So I feel like the preview appointment, if you're not so busy that you can't swing it, is a very valuable tool, especially for a newer agent to prospecting.
Yeah, just to Dominic's point. So the conversion, right, whether you're on the phone or in person, for a lead, we're not talking about for an appointment set, we're talking about a lead, is about 50%. Meaning, if you talk to 10 people and you ask them, hey, would you be opposed to meeting with me to give me the opportunity to earn your business in the future? About half would say yes. Half would be open to that. So if you were to go on 20 preview appointments per month, you'd come out with about 10 leads per month. That's what that looks like. Okay. 10 leads that you put into the pipeline, you'd follow up over the next couple of weeks. And of those 10, you turn some of those into listing appointments. I will make this point though, Ben, Dom, that preview appointments don't have to be just FSBOs, by the way.
Right.
We preview expireds, we preview absentee owners, we preview for rent by owners, we preview circle prospecting leads, we preview properties out of conversations from open houses. I mean, remember, look at the definition. The preview appointment is a property walkthrough. That's it. It doesn't mean that the seller is this type of person. We don't have to segment them as just to FSBOs. It could be any human. It's any human where you walk through the property. Yeah, go ahead.
With that in mind, with what you just said in mind, I can't remember exactly what the stat is. We've talked about it a lot, but what percentage of potential sellers hire one of the first one or two agents that they've met in person?
Yeah, most. And we're going to talk a lot about that next.
Okay.
Yeah. Ben, anything you want to add on the preview? Yep.
The only thing I would add is just like a hierarchy. It's like if you have the time in your schedule, it's like fill them with these. You can always replace a better appointment where you booked a preview. Yep.
Great point. So we're going from this spectrum of quantity to quality. And as you go down across this spectrum, naturally the number of appointments you're going to go on is going to go down. Okay. So again, that's why I said what I said. If you don't have a huge listing inventory, you don't have a major pipeline, it would behoove you to get in front of face-to-face, belly-to-belly, as many people as you possibly can. That's the argument that I'd stand by forever. That's why if you're not where you want to be, it makes all the sense in the world for you to say, the heck with it. All I want to do is get in front of people. That's all I want to do. Get in front of people. All right, now let's talk about discovery appointments. So a discovery appointment are appointments with sellers who have agreed to meet to discuss hiring you to list and sell their home at some point in the future. That's what a discovery appointment is. The reason we call it a discovery appointment, think about this. When I put it this way, I hope this gives you the biggest aha moment ever. Sellers agree to these meetings because they themselves are in the discovery phase of the home selling process. Think of it like showing a buyer a home. It's the same thing. How many times have you showed a house to a buyer that they didn't buy? Oh, that's right. All the time. It's the same thing. So if you're confused in your mind about what this is, there's no difference between a discovery appointment with the seller who's gathering information, thinking about selling their home, they're discovering what they want to do in the future. That to me is no different than a buyer who says, hey, can I go look at this house, and doesn't buy the house. Happens all the time. That's a buyer discovery appointment. You went to go show them a house because the buyer is researching homes to purchase. They may or may not be ready to write an offer on a home. I would venture to say that the vast majority of you do discovery appointments with buyers. You just didn't call them that. But when we look at it with sellers, I'm hoping you say that makes a lot of sense. Most people, to Dominic's point, do not wake up one day out of a cold sweat and decide to put a lockbox on the door today after never, ever, ever, ever thinking about it. They think about it for months and sometimes years before they actually list the house for sale. All of you would say, yep, that makes sense. So these appointments are extremely effective. Why? Because Dominic said it. Most sellers end up hiring the first agent they meet with. We have study after study after study after studies to support that. So if you're talking with somebody who's thinking about selling their house in the future, and they have agreed to meet you at their home to discuss hiring you to sell their home, it would make all the sense in the world to go on that appointment 100% of the time. These appointments are probably, if I think about my career, how I've listed most properties. Most of the time, I have conversations from multiple different sources. It ends up with me at their house talking about the market, talking about what I would do to help them sell the property in the future, and then me coming back in a couple of weeks or a couple of months to get paperwork signed. Now, on the discovery appointment, you're going to go through the entire listing presentation. This is when you're interviewing. You're looking to set a great first impression. You're going through the entire process. You're setting the agenda up front. You're going through the full pricing presentation. You're going through your full value proposition presentation. You're presenting all of the numbers to the seller. You're going through the plan of action. There's just no expectation of that person signing a contract today because they're thinking about selling in the future. But they've agreed to meet with you because they're in the process of gathering information. Part of that is meeting with the realtors they want to work with to represent them in the sale of their home. And just like I said, this is your time to make a great first impression so that when the day comes and they do want that lockbox on their front door, they do want the sign in the front yard, they are ready for showings, you naturally are at the top of the list to earn the business because you've already met with them in the past. You've already interviewed. You've gone through your value proposition. You've already presented where maybe some of the other agents have not met with them yet. Now, Don, you want to add anything to this piece?
Nope.
Yeah.
That's pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm. So, difference between preview appointment, discovery appointment is, again, preview appointment. Seller has no expectation that we're talking about the listing of the selling of the home. In fact, we're there to find out if there is a lead. A discovery appointment is the exact opposite. We know that they are a lead because over the phone, at the networking meeting, at the open house, we talked about the fact that they want to sell their home. We talked about the fact that they have desire, ability. We got timelines, which is why we recommended that we get together in the first place because of the intention. And they said, yes, we'd love for you, Nikita, to come over our house. We'd love to talk to you about potentially handling the sale of our home. Please come on over. Friday night would be great. That's what the meeting was set on. That was the foundation it was set upon. Yeah, we're thinking about selling here in the next month or two. We'd love to meet with you and see what you have to offer. Those are all discovery appointments. In my opinion, this happens 80 to 90% of the time. You would do a discovery appointment, interviewing for the job of selling the house. which then leads us into the third type of an appointment, which is super simple, a listing appointment. So a listing appointment is really simple. It's an appointment with a seller where the expectation is to sign paperwork and get the process of selling, the home selling process started. Begging, I got to fix the words in there. That's easy. That's a listing appointment. Most of you are calling listing appointments discovery appointments. That's all. So we're just defining it to make it easy. A listing appointment is where you and the seller talk about, yeah, we're ready to go. Come on over. Let's get some paperwork signed. We've got an extra key for you, Ron. So just come on over. We're ready to go ahead and get the house on the market. We're ready to get the house on the market. We're ready to go ahead and start the process of selling the house. That's what a listing appointment is. We're going there to actually fulfill the listing of the property. All right, real simple.